Venables, for putting that into context and reminding us all that when we work with our kids early on, allow them to view the energy solutions not as what we have today, but what we can be doing tomorrow. And I think the outlook is pretty good for us. A lot of innovation going on. I'm going to start off the questions here. Some pretty quick ones, hopefully for you, Ms. Plowfield. You mentioned the fact that within the Office of Indian Energy, you're a small office, but you know you're working on good things, and I recognize that you're small, but I also recognize that we are really, really small in Alaska. We've had this conversation before. I had received a commitment from the previous administration that we would double the size of the Indian Energy Office in Alaska. We would go from 1 to 2. We actually wanted 3, but we weren't successful with that. Now, I understand that commitments made in the prior administration don't necessarily carry over, but my question to you is, what do you intend to do to make sure that the Office of Indian Energy is as effective as possible in the state of Alaska, given the very severe limitations that we have, and again, a lot of ground that we have to cover? I'm hoping that you're going to be able to come up to the state to visit with many of our tribes and understand what more can be done, but just very quickly what the plans are.
Thank you, Senator. My plan for the office is to make it more effective as part of a broader plan of modernization efforts for the department as a whole. And as I mentioned in my opening statements in December, I did ask our team to rethink how we provide our technical assistance services, more effectively utilizing the provider networks localized. As you know, in 2016, we made grants to 7 Alaska entities to provide technical assistance, and we want to incorporate them. I've spoken to folks at the Denali Commission. I've spoken to folks at AEA about helping us with that, so that we're positioned to provide technical assistance locally and expand our capacity in that way. And I do appreciate, Senator, I understand the history and it's unfortunate that the prior secretary did not keep that promise. I can tell you that the Office of Indian Energy under this administration, we don't intend to make promises that we can't keep, and we look forward to working with you to continue to make our staff as effective as possible.
Well, again, I would urge you to come up yourself so that you have that opportunity to gain that appreciation and understanding.
Thank you, Senator. I have been up to Anchorage, and we are planning some more trips in the future, and I also understand that the Secretary is very much looking forward to his trip with you in a few weeks.
Yes, we're pleased that he's going to be out there. We'd like to get you out into some of the villages. Let me ask you about the Tribal Loan Guarantee Program. You indicated that you've had some listening sessions already, and you're planning on doing some additional. Do you have any idea when and where you might have additional listening sessions?
Thank you. Yes, we do. The first one that we had was out at the Reservation Economics Summit a few weeks ago in Las Vegas. It was very helpful. They got a lot of good feedback. The additional sessions planned are for actually next week in New Orleans at the Native American Finance Officers Association, and then NCAI is meeting in Kansas City. We have an upcoming Indian Country Energy Infrastructure Working Group in Albuquerque in May, and I've spoken to, coincidentally, folks from both ATNA and Tanana Chiefs that were in town this week for the AFN Alaska Day. I've asked for their input as to where and when the best place in Alaska, and it would be either probably in the fall at AFN or BIA, and obviously we would welcome the input from your office as the best time to do that.
Well, I was going to suggest possibly AFN or the BIA Providers Conference, so we're all on the same track there, but yes. I think that would be an ideal opportunity for that. Let me ask you one more question, and then I'll have a chance for a second round here for others. I mentioned the road belt and the fact that in some of these communities the costs are just sky high. I believe you're familiar with this proposed road belt intertie project. It is aggressive in what they're trying to do because you're connecting about 30 different rural communities all of which rely on diesel-generated microgrids. I mean, these are small, but if we can figure this out, it is substantial in terms of the opportunities for them. It's a big project, though. They're estimated it's about a $500 million project. But the first step to this is pretty modest. An updated engineer's report is estimated to require something more in the lines of $1 million. Given OIE's mission, given that your budget actually increased by a couple $1 million this year, are there any opportunities or any tools that OIE has where projects like the Road Belt Intertie should be looking? I just met with these folks this week, and they're very keenly interested in moving quickly to get some movement on this engineer's report.
Thank you, Senator. Yes, I actually met with Jason Hook myself this
good.
week from the Intertribal, the Yacht and Intertribal Resource Commission. We had a very collaborative and productive meeting about what we can do. I do happen to have a map of the Road Belt Intertie project on the wall in my office.
I have one right here.
There you go.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And, you know, we were discussing, as you said, some of the gaps in the service there and what we could do. We're currently actually helping them with technical assistance. We're getting them connected to some subject matter experts to help them establish a tribal utility, and we agreed to continue these discussions in the future. My recollection is the estimate he gave me, and I will check on this, was $1.5 to $2 million for the study. And some of the options we were thinking about was what other groups we can get involved and have a group of folks that all put in some money because that is a significant amount. And although we do appreciate the extra $2 million that was in our budget this year. And if I can make one other point to your the issue of the high cost of electricity, I really appreciated what you said about it being a powerful reminder of the trade-offs. In your opening statement, you've talked to many more people up there than I have, but soon after I came on board the first AFN meeting, I always keep in the forefront of my mind a story from a woman, Jessica, in a rural Alaska village who talked about how she had to go out and pick extra berries and do extra fishing because they couldn't afford their grocery bill because she had to pay her mother's electricity bill. And between that and I also keep in the front of my mind on the high cost of energy issues is when you were kind enough to invite me to your office last fall and you showed me the picture of the laundry detergent that cost about $50. So I'm keenly aware of those issues and I keep them in the forefront of my mind as we're trying to solve these problems.
Let's keep working together. Thank you.
Thank you.